Hey, this is JC and welcome to Small Brick City, where we want to help you build a Lego city regardless of the space you have. And welcome to part 2 of building a MOC from start to finish, and the project is the 2019 Townhouse and Pet Shop. So what I'm trying to do is to ReMOC this or rebuild this into a half modular style building on a 16 by 32 stud base plate, and it is a corner build, and this is what I've got so far. In the first video I worked out basically the size and built the first floor. If you missed that, please do check out the link in the card above or the description below. In this video, what I'm going to attempt to do is add in some stairs. I think I will need to add in some of my own parts to make it happen, because what I've been trying to do so far is not to use any other parts except those parts that came with the set. Now, I did buy 2 sets and did a mirror build of 2 sets, so that's what I'm working with. So it's not just 1 set but 2 sets, and that allows me to fill up all the space, because the original build is a closed up design. What I'm going for is basically a modular style building where the levels can separate and the roof separates, but all else is closed. And that's why you see all these open Technic bricks over here, because basically I was trying to use the bricks that came with the set and not use my external bricks. At this point, I've only used an extra 2 1x2 plates, which I think is pretty good. I've also added in some of these 1 by something black tiles, and they are there to lay the foundation of the build, but that's really optional, something I wanted to do. But other than that, I'm pretty happy. However, now that I'm going to add the stairs, I'm quite sure I'll need to bring in a few of my own parts, definitely the stairs, but some other parts just to make it stable and to fit the build. But I'll try to keep it to as minimal as possible. So with that out of the way, let's get started, and we'll start off with the stairs and complete the structure of the first level. Let's start with the townhouse portion of the build, and the stairs I'm going to use is the set of brown stairs. So this is from my spare parts box. I do need to lift it up so that it's in line with the top of the level. In order to do that, I will need to bring in another brick of mine. I'm going to use this 2x3 brick, and the color scheme is basically just to follow that whole brown, orange, white and gray color scheme. And then I can use 2 of these 1x4 bricks. These came with the original build, and this creates a nice 90-degree turn so that I can do something like that for the stairs. I now need to build this. I have to take this up. Now this may result in me requiring other plates, because what I need to do now is to build this portion into the plate, and I'm going to use this brown plate here, and I will need another plate underneath. Yep, I'll need a 1 by something plate underneath here, and then I'll sandwich it with this. So let me grab my own plates. In this case, an additional 1x2 plate. I'll use a 2x2 plate here just to sandwich and lock that in, and this will allow me to place this just like that. Now, I do intend to tile the floor, but it's alright. In this case, I can't spare any more height. As you can see, it's already flush with the top. So this is basically how my stairs will go in. Now the question is, can the existing plates I have be used to fill up this space? Let's see. So I can't really use the parts that come with the set. I mean, they do work, it's just that the color scheme will be out, so I'm going to bring in my own colors just to fit this in. That worked for this side over here. I do have my stairs, although I will need another plate over here, but I think, let me try using this plate here. This is from the pet store, and this is an additional one. And this is a 2x4 plate in brown, which I can fit over here, and maybe this might work. It's probably a bit of a high step, So maybe what I actually need is another 1x3 brick over there. I think I won't worry about it at this point. I can decide what to do later on. Let's come over here, and for this side I can do something similar, but I can use the blue bricks that came with the original set. But once again, I will have to build this into this side of the wall. So I'm going to make an executive decision. This is just so that I don't run into so many problems as I build this. Now, I did attempt to try to keep to all the parts, and I believe if I'm not too particular in the colors, I can do that. But the problem is that will result in a hodgepodge of different colors, which I personally do not want. So I'm gonna basically abandon that criteria which I imposed on myself, which is basically just using the parts that I have here. I will still stick to that by and large, as in I will always try to use the parts here first, but if I can't, I will tap onto my own parts. So what I'm going to do now is a bit of a revamp just to keep the color scheme consistent. I'm going to change this layer of plates, and I also want to rework the steps and how it looks, because I don't like that gap over there. So I've redone the stairs just so that it's a bit more solid. I'm using 2x3 and 2x4 bricks, and I also changed the layer of plates just below the tiles to white. Other than that, I have reused all the original parts. So I think this still works out pretty good. What I need to do now is to figure out the second floor. And as I showed you early on, the second floor basically is going to be an extension of the original build. So I do want to keep this original design, and in terms of basically the look, I think this works very well. But as I did for the first floor, what I need to do is to add on bricks over here. I'll also have to figure out the stairwell, so that's going to be a bit tricky. I will need to use all the plates that I can get to see what fits and how I can work out the stairwell. So I think that's the first thing I need to do before I can even build anything. I need to work out the base plate of the second level, which I believe is going to be quite tricky. So this is what I've worked out so far. I am a bit uncomfortable about this because it is smaller, and there's no reason for it to be smaller except that because I was working with this size plate. So I'm going to change the plate out so that I'm going to have an even sized stairwell. Took a bit of work, but at least I have these stairwells, and now I can start building up. But looking at it, there's going to be really very little living space, especially if this is supposed to be a townhouse. I'm not sure how anyone's going to live in there. How am I going to build a toilet? Because if this is the ground floor, I guess I could build a toilet all the way inside there. And what about a kitchen? So obviously here I could only, well, I could maybe do a toilet. If you come up here, you could have a bed and then a really tiny toilet. So it might be possible actually. So this is a really tiny townhouse. So I think that will work. So at least now I've got this figured out, I can now build this section over it. And I can build this section actually. It's this one right over here. Over here. There seems to be a roof garden above this townhouse. It makes sense to try to give access to it as well. Not sure how that will work out in this design. Well, there is a balcony here. Now, if there's a balcony here, that does mean, especially if the door opening inside, well, we can see what this particular original design was. They have the kitchen on this second floor. No toilet, obviously. So maybe I could have the bedroom on the ground floor. So I'll give that a think. I'm not too worried about the internal details now. What I need to do is to figure out how to build this up. and minus the roof for now. So I'm going to take this out, and I have to figure out how I can build this up. And obviously this door has to open on the inside. I think that's done because there's no space on the balcony. So that's going to be a challenge, and we'll see what happens. I've been looking at the build and thinking about it, and just looking at the space, there isn't any or not enough practical space, because if you look at this, the wall is actually 2 bricks thick, so it's set in by 2 bricks. So if I use this as an example, that's 2 bricks, and if I were to put any kind of safety barrier, that leaves me with just 3 studs of space. It's enough for a minifig to pass through, but you couldn't put anything here, so it's just not practical. I couldn't have any internal space or any internal builds. So I'm going to take a step back. I'm not going to this second floor just yet. I'm going to make a drastic change, and I'm going to take out the stairs. And in the place of the stairs, I'm going to put some ladders like this. These are railing parts. There are 4 of them. They're put together with tiles and plates to form a very large stable ladder. So I'm not going to use the typical ladder molded piece. I think this looks a bit more solid and will fit in better. And I'll use modified plates with the double clip to clip onto the ladder, and that's to hold it in place. This means that I need a much smaller hole for the floor into the next level, and that means I've got more usable space. So I think it's important for a MOC of this size. There is a second possibility that I can explore, and that is to expand the building by another 2 studs. Either this one, or it could even this one. I'm thinking of this one, but that means I will have to add more bricks. I'm not sure I've got enough bricks. Probably I do, and I have to think about this floor as well. I'll need to build this up, but I think there's probably enough bricks to go around. So I'm still thinking about that, whether I should extend this by 2 studs so that it is slightly bigger. Right now it is only 8 studs big, or is it 9 studs? So that's 4, that's 8, so it's 9 studs big. I have built houses that are 8 studs by 8 studs, so it is possible. It is tight, but with the ladder I actually save space. So do I want to go through the effort of expanding this? I do have enough windows, I do have enough parts, so let's give it a shot. I mean, I am backtracking, so probably for this part of the video I will not be creating that second floor. I will expand this, redo the floor after I put in the stairs, and we'll see where we're at that point. I've extended the building by 2 studs forward. I added in windows on either side. I know this might be butted up against a building, but this is just to save on parts. And I've also added in the stairs, this time on the same side, because I think it's going to be easier to create that hole just on one side rather than have them on diagonal sides. So I think this is much better. I can see that there's probably going to be much more usable space now with the builds. This being a pet cafe, this also forms separation between the levels for the different pets, because if I'm having birds above, I don't really want the cats or dogs, you know, running up the stairs. So I think this is actually a good solution, and I'm happy that we did that. So now on to creating the floor of the second floor. And here we have the completed build in terms of the floor for the second floor. I think this works much better now, and if we were to take the 2 builds, or I can't put it on directly because of the stairs, but you can kind of see where it goes. At least for this level, I do have much more usable space. Even if this opens here, I think I can work with this. I'll probably build the toilet below. and move the kitchen down, and this would just be the bedroom. And over here, this will be the pet cafe. I think this is much better. It works much better in my opinion, and I still can build everything. I do believe I have enough bricks to fill up all the space here. At least this for a second floor, and this for 3 floors going up. Well, this has been a little adventure, but I think it's also a lesson in problem solving and just the creative process of mocking. It doesn't always go according to plan, and when you remock something, especially taking things apart, preserving the main build and putting that together and trying to have functional space, you'd always run in these problems, and you just have to make a decision whether to move forward or to backtrack, as I did, and just make an executive decision and do something drastic. In this case, expand the build as well as change from stairs to ladders. So sometimes you just have to do that. In fact, I'm pretty happy that this happened. I think that this is just a good way to show you how the process of mock building goes. It doesn't always go according to plan, and it is about reacting, thinking of solutions, and moving forward. I hope you enjoyed this part. Do stay tuned for part 3. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up, and as always, subscribe to the channel and turn on that notification bell. Thanks for watching. Check out these 2 videos before you go.